Today we'll be going over the RFC Hunter Boost. We can get 130 to 140 mobs in about 10 to 12 minutes. You can expect to get about 9k per run for like 40k plus per hour, depending on group size. This is the talent setup that I've been running with. We got sub BM for extra pet health, faster res, and a little bit longer duration on Eyes of the Beast. We go into survival for extra survivability for ourselves, with survivalist for health, deterrence for a little bit of a defensive cooldown, improved feigned death so that it gets resisted less often. And then we got the extra trap damage and trap resist, which isn't really relevant for here, but will help us in SM when we take it over to there too. Our runes that are important are things like Lone Wolf, extra damage, explosive shot, AoE damage, exposed weakness, helps explosive shot just a little bit. And then we got Serpent Spread. You could also run Flanking Strike. It really doesn't matter what you run in the leg rune, honestly. But then importantly, we also have Trap Launcher. Lately, I've been doing this pull a little bit differently than I'll show you guys here. The only real difference is that I'm going up to the ledge on the bridge on the right that you guys will see in a moment. And I start the pull by using Eyes of the Beast to get all the mobs up here in the front and then just pull them back down the ramp. Otherwise, you can kind of do it like this if you want to maybe shave 10 seconds off. You aggro all the mobs just by shooting them and cast a nice trap. And then we jump up here on this ledge in between these two little spikes. We call our pet, we howl, we feign death, and then we cast Eyes of the Beast. We do it in that order just so that the pet gets aggro, then we feign death, and then we have Eyes of the Beast to control our pet. We jump down and we press howl. Every time we jump, we try to press howl just so that we can make sure the aggro stays. Sometimes if you're in the air too long, mobs can evade and stuff. So we keep on jumping down those two little ways and aggro up some mobs. Once we do that, we press howl again because for whatever reason, those pack of mobs like to look at us afterwards. And at the same time that we press howl, we're pressing passive and dash, and our pet will try and loop around and eventually will despawn like that. We call it again, we howl, we feign death, and we recast Eyes of the Beast. We take our pet down the ramp again. You can jump off the edge even here. And the idea is just to group up all the mobs that may have been left over. You'll see there's just a few. And lately, myself, I don't go all the way up the ramp. I usually just kind of stop at the trogs there, not even getting like these couple worms and magma elementals. I'll save them for the second pull that you guys will see later. So right now we're just running our pet away a little bit, and then we'll do the same kind of idea where we hit escape and passive. That way our pet will try to run back to us and it'll just despawn. And then we'll run up a little bit just to kind of meet the mobs, start the damage, and make sure they don't reset from being out of render distance too far. I ran away just a little bit just to make sure my pet despawns, and now I'm running up to meet the mobs. Going here and throwing a couple of traps on the corner just to get things started. A couple mobs on the left that didn't get pulled somehow, so I just kind of shoot them. It doesn't really matter. I could have even waited a little bit longer just to kind of have the pack a little bit closer. And since these mobs are so low level, you don't really have to worry about them killing you. You don't stand much chance of dying here, really. The jump isn't that hard. You can even just strafe jump it, but I tend to kind of turn and look at it. The only real dangerous part is if you mess up and run into the lava, so just try to be a little bit careful there. This stuff dies really quick. It's around 50-ish mobs, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on what you got. And you just clean them up real quick, try and find a high level or high health target to send your explosive shot into. That way it lasts and actually explodes a little bit of the pack. Otherwise, you just dance back and forth, same kind of hunter idea, and get all the mobs down. We'll start running away, summon our pet. We don't actually even need to heal it. We can just put it on stay and keep on running forward. Since anytime we call our pet, it'll just have like a little bit of less health. It's a weird little bug that's been in the game for a while. We're running up here on the ledge to get the next bit started. And the idea here is we're just going to try and round up as much of the back room as we can. A lot of the mobs don't social. It's something that you guys will hear me say over and over and over again. Like, why aren't these mobs social aggroing? You just got to deal with it. You try to attack with your pet as much as possible, dash, and all that. The enforcers do stun, so you can try to kind of avoid pulling them. Try to see if stuff just socials off of them to get them going. But they're really not that big a deal. They just they can cause a problem. So I summon my pet in the middle there just so I have line of sight because I'm going to be going up on this ledge. If you pull that mob there, it's not a big deal. You just feign death it off and walk past it. But we'll be going up to this ledge here over by the magma elementals or molten elementals. We'll have a line of sight on our pet. Make sure that we don't have Viper on because that'll give us aggro from the mana regen. And we just go around picking up a bunch of mobs. There's no real set path to this. You just kind of freestyle it however you want to do it. It's more about like the principles of everything, right? Like, which is kind of fun part about hunter boosting. It's more of like a if then. It's less of just like a set script. Like this time I went ahead and pulled this guy. One suggestion I do have though is going a little bit towards the right because you can go up the ramp here like you guys will see. There's a last boss. You can pull a lot of mobs that way, and then we'll be jumping down to pull a bunch more mobs. So in that way, having a little bit of a route helps, but you can be adaptable and change stuff up on the fly. So after we grab this last satyr, we'll be walking down or jumping down. And we try to howl once we land, usually not midair, but it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to make sure that stuff doesn't evade and start running to us as the player instead of being on our wolf. We get a bunch more mobs here. I run over here and I think, can I recast Eyes of the Beast? And I could. So I did that. It was pretty nice. Otherwise, you can just have your pet be kind of far away. And when you hit escape or the timer times out, then it'll just despawn. That's when you do the little trick of calling your pet, howling, casting Feign Death, and then recasting Eyes of the Beast. The howl is to get your pet back into combat and give it a little bit of threat. Then you Feign Death to get out of combat and have no threat. And then you recast Eyes of the Beast to get things going. Like, I think I may even do it here. Nah, I grabbed everything, so that's cool. So I place a trap right there. That way it actually will like aggro the magma elemental. I keep on calling him that, so I think we'll just go with it. But that way it'll aggro them along the way like that. And then since they're a little bit slowed, they'll all run into that trap. I send an explosive shot too, just for fun. Get a little bit of damage on them while we get the pull going. I run over here and I usually multi-shot or explosive shot, either or, it doesn't really matter. Go and target one back there, shoot that one, body aggro a lot of them. You can take some hits there, it's not a big deal. And then I go underneath there to LOS all those casters that were casting on me. You resist a lot of their casts, so it's not dangerous, but it's more to just get them moving again. And then while we run back to the same place that we were at the beginning, we just keep on throwing traps behind us and casting explosive shots while we jump turn. That guy was there, so I just hit him with a wing clip, no big deal. And we just keep on throwing those traps behind us. I think I even throw one up on the wall here. It's kind of funny. Yep. So that was a wasted trap. No big deal though. So the one thing you kind of do have to worry about here, or the two things I guess, is that the main boss, that's like a fell guard with the big two-handed sword, he can knock you up, so he can knock you into the lava. So you want to be careful of that. Once you jump up onto the ledge, you can backpedal there, you'd seen, so you can get a little bit of distance from him if you need. But you want to avoid him knocking you up and possibly into the lava, and you want to avoid the enforcers chain stunning you to death, but it's fairly unlikely. In all the runs that I've done this, I don't think I've really had deaths to mobs so much as I've had deaths to just being dumb and jumping in the lava. So we clean them all up there. Same kind of principle. You try and pick a high health target. That way your explosive shot actually has a chance to tick and do its AoE damage. And we just kind of clean up all the mobs that are there. Sometimes it can be hard. I turn off nameplates because having nameplates on with that many mobs kind of lags out my computer personally. And there it is, under 10 minutes and 140 mobs. Looks like hunters are doing just as good, if not a little bit better than mages. Again, shout out to Kevan as per usual. I based a lot of this routing on stuff that he had done in the past. Links to his and my Twitch down in the description. You guys can check out all the kind of boosting madness that him and I get up to on a daily basis.